Why is sex outside the bounds of marriage between a man and a woman wrong? There's a number of ways to answer the question. The simplest and most straightforward, most direct, is simply this: God says so. But God's not capricious. God doesn't just take pleasures and say, no, you can't have it, just to show that he's God. Every bit of God's law, and make no mistake about it, God's law is abundantly clear that sexual activity outside marriage between a man and a woman is, in fact, wrong. That God does this, like he does with every bit of his law, for our good. It's a blessing. We feel like God saying to us, you may not have sex outside of marriage, is akin to God saying, you may not eat the fruit of that tree, as if he's trying to keep something from us. When the reality is, friends, he is seeking to bless us by protecting us from our own self-destructive behavior. Now, 50 or 60 years ago or longer, you would find among Christians people who were eager to talk about the importance of saving the sexual relationship for marriage by pointing out the bad consequences that come from disobeying this law. That if you have sex outside of marriage, you will harm your reputation. If you have sex outside of marriage, you will potentially get a sexually transmitted disease. If you have sex outside of marriage, you will get pregnant. Well, those standards change. The culture has changed such that now your refusal to be sexually involved until marriage is something that creates a bad reputation in the world. And medicine has made a great deal of difference on the dangers of sexually transmitted diseases and pregnancies. So those are not the reasons why. The reasons why, I would suggest, have everything to do with why sexual relationships within the marriage are so powerful and such a blessing. You see, friends, it's not that Christians have a low view of the sexual relationship. It's that we have a high view. Because what happens when a man and a woman come together as husband and wife is, in that Edenic language that we find at the end of Genesis chapter 2, we're naked and unashamed. That when we come together, there is an intimacy that our physical bodies manifest that reflects the intimacy of our relationship and our commitment. When a husband and wife come together, they're coming together in the only safe place where they can let down their guard completely. And when we seek to do this with those who are not committed to us, we put ourselves in danger of rejection, danger of leaving bits and pieces of our hearts behind. Because where the body goes, the spirit goes. Well, what if it's too late? Well, every time we disobey God, our calling is to acknowledge that we have done so, to be sorrowful for having done so, to recognize his wisdom in establishing his law, and to turn from our sin. And we find forgiveness and we find healing. We're made well. God is not a fuddy-duddy. God is not a sourpuss. God is the giver of every great and perfect gift. And He has the wisdom to direct us how to get the great blessing from His gifts.